The Raiders are continuing to add to their wide receiver room, and they've signed so many wide receivers this past offseason, and they did not stop this week. Even though free agency has passed and it has been some time, the Raiders continue to bring back some familiar faces
to this team.
And I really like this first move, re-signing Keelan Cole. We know he made that big controversial catch against the New England Patriots. Some people thought it might have been incomplete, but the referees ultimately ruled it a touchdown. And Keelan Cole's about 29 years old, but he's had a decent career, still has decent speed, playing with the Jags and the Jets previously in his career and getting 141 yards last year and 1 touchdown. But one thing I want you guys to notice is, especially with the Raiders, more than other teams and also with the Jags, Keelan Cole primarily played in the slot. You can see this, 165 snaps in the slot last year and 95 snaps wide. This is why I think Hunter Renfrow, despite the fact that he had some bonuses kick in, I do think it could quite possibly be the end for Hunter Renfrow. The Raiders could still move on from his contract and not lose too much in dead money. And not only did the Raiders previously sign Jakobi Meyers, who does have tons of experience playing in the slot, but now they have Keelan Cole, who filled in the slot while Hunter Renfrow was gone last year. We know Hunter Renfrow dealt with concussions last year, wasn't entirely his fault. I also believe Josh McDaniels did not know how to use this guy. You saw him do much better in 2021 under Greg freaking Olsen with Gruden's playbook. But I do think it is a smart move to bring Keelan Cole just in case you do move on from Hunter Renfrow. You're covering your bases here with a cheap investment, only a 1-year contract, and maybe that will be the starting lineup this year: Davante Adams, Keelan Cole, and Jakobi Meyers. The Raiders also signed Cam Sims, the former Washington Commander wide receiver. Now, this guy does not have much experience playing in the slot, primarily played wide at wide receiver last year, so I think he'll have a chance to compete to start outside of Davante Adams, kind of that Mac Hollins type role, and he does kind of have the body to do it. 6'5", 220 pounds, taller, big body wide receiver. And let's be real, the guy barely played 89 yards last year, 211 the year prior, but I did see some comments online. I like to see what other fans think of their players who are leaving their team. You had a lot of fans kind of be sad that the Commanders are moving on from Cam Sims. It's not because he's going to be the greatest wide receiver ever, but they thought he was a decent depth piece. And so when you look at the Raiders wide receiver room right now at tight end, we only have OJ Howard and Jesper Horsted, but just talking about wide receivers specifically, you got Davante Adams, Jakobi Meyers, Keelan Cole, Cam Sims. DJ Turner is still on the roster as well. And the Raiders also have Philip Dorsett along with Hunter Renfrow, and we'll see what happens with Hunter Renfrow, but I feel like if the Raiders do move on from Hunter Renfrow, they kind of have all their bases covered right here, and I would not be surprised if they do so. And maybe this is the strategy of the Raiders this year: load up on wide receiver and not have too much concern for tight end. And this is sort of what happened in 2019 with the New England Patriots. When you look at their roster in 2019, didn't really have a dominant tight end. You had Izzo at tight end, but a good crew of wide receivers. And I feel like this is what Josh McDaniels could be doing. This could be the plan to sort of stack up on wide receiver talent, utilize them in the passing game, and just go for more blocking style tight ends. And we should not sleep on Jakobi Meyers. The guy had over 800 yards these past 2 seasons, and he has never really been next to somebody as talented as Davante Adams. So I think he could really get a 1,000-yard season this upcoming year. And the Raiders could quietly have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Now, I'm not going to say receiver rooms if you're including tight end, but wide receiver only. The Raiders seriously could have a really good room. And yes, I understand the Raiders are not making big moves. It's disappointing a lot of people, but hey, maybe they have their eyes set on a prize later on in the future, and they're not necessarily trying to get to the Super Bowl in Vegas this year. Either way, let me know how you feel about these signings in the comment below, and what do you think is going to happen to Hunter Renfrow? Will we lose a third player who is part of that 2021 playoff team? And are the Raiders going backwards by getting rid of several players? Our record last year, 6-11. Always remember, this is the worst record the Raiders have had since 2018. This year, this upcoming season, should be absolutely no excuses for Josh McDaniels. Like this video if you have not yet, and subscribe to this channel for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.